Back on MorningLine, that's our final segment this morning, talking with you about presidential politics. Mark Schwartz is with us from over at Lipscomb, political science professor. Taking your phone call, 737-7587. Want to just talk about, with just about 2 weeks before finally the election, and we'll find out who the new president is going to be. The negatives in terms of, for both of them, just some of the things that have made some headlines lately. And the latest from Donald Trump, of course, is yet another woman came out over the weekend claiming there was inappropriate conduct. And Trump, of course, now saying he's going to sue every one of these women after the election. On the other hand, too, we still continue to see leaks from WikiLeaks about some of those emails of Hillary Clinton exposing things. I'm wondering if for either side, especially with the WikiLeaks thing, Mark, if they have what we claim might be a bombshell, and most of what's been leaked from WikiLeaks, interesting, damaging, but nothing like, oh, that's horrible, 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 I mean, unto itself. If they had it, wouldn't they want to get that out there right now if WikiLeaks is playing this game, trying to influence politics now, as opposed to waiting till some bombshell the day before the election?
Well, you've got two different approaches to that, I think. You have the weekend before the actual election. Because what you're going to do is hit those people. It's going to be the last thing in their minds before they go into the voting booth. That's one approach. The other approach is, like you say, do it earlier so that it has time to sort of be spread by the media, be percolated, be analyzed, be talked to death, dominate that conversation so you hit as many people as possible. According to either one of those, you've got weaknesses. With doing it now and letting it percolate, essentially what you also have is people process this information very quickly and then put it into a broader picture.
Yes, right. That's
and so then it becomes, okay, well, this isn't quite that bombshell that I thought, considering everything else I always knew. Or you wait to the last minute. Well, you may not convince as many people because people have already made up their minds by that point. So it's all about trade-offs between those two different approaches. And I don't think there's really a definitive case to be made for or against either one of those.
I imagine there'll be new things we learn between now and then.
Well, the October surprise came out first, with the Carter-Reagan campaign in 1980. The October surprise was going to be, well, they're going to release the hostages that are being held in Tehran over that last weekend before the election. Never came to fruition. They actually got released on the day of Reagan's inauguration. Those were very dramatic pictures from that day and footage. And then the last significant kind of October surprise that I remember is the 2000 election. On the weekend before the election, you have the release of the drunk driving thing with Bush in 2000. Some of the details are kind of like fuzzy in my mind as well, but I do remember that being like, okay, you Christian conservatives and all you were like, really, how can you vote for this person on that day?
Can you maybe put into context for us just whether it is that big a deal, and it came out of the last debate, that Donald Trump has not said he would definitively accept the election results if he doesn't win, and he said, he didn't say he wouldn't, he just said, I'm going to keep you in suspense and I'll let you know, but the implication was that since he constantly is talking about how it's rigged, that he may feel if he was cheated, he's not going to accept it. Is that really a big deal? If Hillary wins and he doesn't accept it, I think once this election's over, the loser, as quite often is the case, just fades away and is forgotten. It just is. It's the way it happens.
It does usually happen that way. And the thing is, Trump was in, if he's going to use the rigged election as part of his campaign rhetoric, then, okay, if he says at that question, I'll accept it, then doesn't that undermine everything he said about how this is a rigged election? And then if he does say, well, I'll keep you in suspense, well, it's not like he can actually do anything. I mean, he can sue. But all the judge has to do is just throw the case out, because unless he can actually make a case,
he has to make
all he does is create some drama, and by the end of November, I would think that everybody would be tired of it.
Yeah, well, I'm already tired of some of this stuff about bogus elections. And, is there some election fraud here or there? Perhaps. But the way he declared, look, I'm all over that story. If someone can bring to me clear-cut evidence of voter fraud, he talks it, and that's the problem with either candidate. You take it on face value, and you can't half the time. Where's the evidence? That's all I want, some proof. And on many of these people, like here in the state of Tennessee, that's a Republican sitting up there, who's over elections here, and he's like, you know what? This is in past elections. No. What's he talking about? It's insulting in some ways, and I just view that as not wanting to take responsibility for trailing it and saying, "Well, it's got to be rigged. I couldn't possibly lose." I mean, come on, man up or whatever. Whether you win or lose, whether it's Hillary or whoever, accept it as it is and don't blame the process unless you have some full proof for me. And don't compare it to Al Gore. Okay, Al Gore wasn't talking about voter fraud weeks before the election. Right?
No, he wasn't.
Okay, so I mean, I'm just the voter fraud thing just bothers me because if people really believe that their vote doesn't count, that really is what will keep people home.
Yeah, it certainly will.
I just want proof. All I want is proof. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, Mark. Come on. And there's a problem with talking around and saying everything's rigged. That's just not true.
Well, the thing is,
rigged? How? Who?
Listen,
what?
But it resonates with a larger point that he's trying to make, and that is that the system, not so much the actual voting process, but that the system is rigged against people who have worked hard their whole lives or been promised certain things that never came true. You know, it's that kind of thing where you're like saying, okay, the deal was the social contract, if you will. Work hard, you will be taken care of, like when you're a senior citizen, okay? That's the Social Security promise, okay? Or if you go to college, then a job will be out there after you're done. Okay? That is also not out there. Or it's that if you do things in a certain way according to a certain set of values, again, in line with the American dream, in line with, you know, American values and this kind of thing, that you will get a fair shot, if nothing else. And so this election has been all about who gets things that they don't deserve, who gets things that they do deserve, and who gets, well, shafted by the system itself. And at this point, everybody feels shafted at some point.
And if they feel shafted, then it's easier for them to believe that the fix was in against them, which in some cases may be true. And in other cases, you just got to look at yourself in the mirror and say, maybe I haven't gotten where I want to go because I'm just not up to snuff.
But who is that?
I don't know.
Okay, see, that's where everybody starts disagreeing again, which is, okay, what is my fault? What is something that is actually out of my control? You know, a lot of people, you know, you look at your Trump voters, the industrial workers. Globalization took my job away. Okay, well, globalization was in the hands of those people in Washington, and they're the ones who let this happen to me. Because I was working hard, I was doing everything I should have, and all of a sudden, I've got no future
That's
here.
frustrating, sure.
And so at this point, what you're also seeing is, it's the consensus has finally had its final shattering, I think. And so at this point, everybody feels like a minority. We've sliced and diced our population according to ethnicity, according to class, according to gender in such a way that there are no majorities left. And so that's one of those things where everybody's like pointing at, okay, I'm done. I can't take responsibility for somebody else while they get an advantage. I need help too. And so I think that's a lot of this as well.
And so maybe that's why when he says that, it resonates with people.
Oh, certainly.
There has to, because it does resonate. And a lot of people buy into that. Hey, Fergie, go ahead real quick. What's on your mind?
I just want to throw out something that's really kind of a crazy idea. But what would happen if he was to up and quit at this point because he didn't want to face losing the actual election because he believes that it's so rigged? I mean, what kind of...
Something like that's never happened, has it? Wouldn't that be something?
No, he wouldn't do it either.
Well, he's already said, and even when they were talking about Woody a few weeks back or whatever, there's just no way, and good for him. I mean, he's
been through public humiliation.
Yeah, this doesn't bother him. And I've said this all along. Win or lose, Donald Trump's going to win.
Oh, yeah.
Win or lose. Not all, you know, with some candidates, after they lose, you kind of fade away. You don't know. They're all going to land on their feet and do okay.
Sure.
But Donald Trump's going, we already are hearing about the Trump network. You know, I'm just saying, I mean, win or lose, Donald Trump wins here.
Sure. I mean, you've got a massive opportunity there with a built-in viewership. I mean, if you're going to look at it that way. I mean, I don't think that's been his goal, because I think he sincerely did want to do something about this. I think he's sincere about wanting to be president, about what the problems are and everything like that. And I think if you look at the way he acts around Clinton, it's very much a, you know what, I've known you for a long time.
Oh, there's pictures
We've been
of
around
them
each
together,
other,
smiling and hanging out.
I think, honestly, he was fed up with a lot of people, because I think he sincerely is like trying to do what he thinks is right for the country. And I think he just says, you know what, all you people have it wrong. Because he's in New York, he's also in a different kind of business than Wall Street and Silicon Valley and all these other people. You know, he's rooted in actual ground. And so I think he looks at things in a fairly different way than others do.
It's going to be interesting. Listen, this is just an interesting conversation. I learn from you every day. I envy your students.
Oh.
Professor, thank you for coming on.
They don't envy a whole lot of people.
Yeah, well, you're a tough grade, I'm sure. But thank you for coming on, sir.
Thank you.
We'll see you again. We got 2 more weeks on this, and maybe Aftermath, of course, we'll do more.
Sure.
Thank you, Professor, for coming on. Take a break. Programming note about tomorrow right after this. Stay with us.